Well, it's summertime where I'm at, and it lasts for just a short while, so we're outdoors again without getting rained on in the Northwest. So, welcome to a short little clip about Unsung Heroes, encouragement for dads in a step family. If you find yourself as a dad in a step family in a situation to where you're running into a thing called parent alienation, I want to touch on that for just a little bit today. I cannot say that I am an expert on it, but I did indeed experience a little. And as time has gone by, those children at the time when they were in their teens and early 20s have indeed turned around and come back to a relationship with me that is now respectful, kind, and I would even say affectionate, as between father and children. If you find yourself there, it could be a really lonely place, and you could be asking yourself the question, what did I do wrong, or why did I deserve this? There's no easy answer to that. We live in a fallen, sinful, evil world, and it's not really getting any better. And if you find yourself as a father, the best remedy is to love well. Pursue your children's hearts, even if that is from a distance. And in parent alienation, it may actually have to be indirect. I do have a couple of resources. If you go to Unsung Heroes, one of the podcasts, one of the episodes talks about reverse betrayal. I won't go into it here because it's on the video. But there's a comment in that portion of that video that talks about 5 things not to say to a child being alienated. Go check it out. If you want that resource, drop me an email at Gilbertstewart7 gmail.com. But let me get back to the point of the little spot here. Indirectly, you have to recall and remind the child of who they are and who they were. They were your son and your daughter at a time, and hopefully you weren't being a bozo and making it difficult on them loving you. Take responsibility for your part, but there does come a point in time, especially when those kids get to be older, that they have to take responsibility for their choices and how they are treating you. Now you're into some really delicate territory because your love has to be indirect. You can't come straight at it a kid who's maybe 16, 17, 19, 25, because that will do nothing more than create more conflict. I think the thing here, guys, is just to remember that, to let them know that they're loved, and to remind them who they are and who they were to you, and that you're actually trying to open a channel of communication with them on their terms. And that's really difficult because then you have to wait. It could be a letter, it could be a text. A text usually is not returned. A really good idea that I got from a friend of mine, Helen Wheeler, suggested that you find a picture of your child, son or daughter, when they were younger, and remind them that that is who they were, maybe not who they are now because they're older, but to say that was the memory that you had of them when they were little, and that you really miss them, and you'd like to get to know who they are now. You have to put it in their terms, guys, and that's what's really difficult about the indirect approach. So I just want to remind all the guys not to get discouraged, not to give up, but to continue to battle for the heart. Because that's ultimately what God looks at, is the heart. Not what you think. Drop into your heart, and sometimes stop trying to figure it out, because you never will. Another little interaction that I had from another friend of mine back on the East Coast was like, here we live in a day where social media and so forth is overcoming a generation. She's right. It is overcoming a generation. They don't know how to relate. And that makes your job even more difficult and even more crucial to reach out and to be patient. I learned something recently from a research and a case study that I work on that really is that truth, like love and sleep, resents too harsh of an approach. If you approach your children too harshly, they will turn you off. But if you approach them with a soft heart, Proverbs 15:1 says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath, but a grievous word stirs up wrath." Go soft, guys. You approach this too hard, you're in an uphill fight. You will never win. Go soft, but be firm. and be relentlessly gentle. Love you with my heart. It's a tough battle, and you are an unsung hero when you do not give up. The last episode that I said in my Unsung Hero video series was always forward, just go slow, because sometimes the mountain she's a cheat, which means you may be thinking you're getting close, but there's another summit to climb. Don't give up, guys. The battle is worth it. It's your legacy. What will you be remembered for? That you gave up and said can't do anything? Or Dad kept on trying even when I was being a jerk? Because they know. But if they know that you love them even when you're being a jerk, there was somebody else that I knew, and I'll conclude with this. When we were jerks, when we were sinners, what did we do to God? Stop and think about that. And if you're in that place and God is pursuing your heart, stop and turn, because He's a loving Heavenly Father who wants to love you. Let Him. Same thing with your kids. Don't stop pursuing them with a gentle, fatherly heart, just like God does you. And so with that, always forward. Take care.